there's half a chance of the minutes getting punted here. Although we don't have real long minutes, I guess, either. Okay, I'm going to call the April meeting of the Ware Conservation Commission to order at 7:04. I'm Steve Najar, Vice Chair, and we've got Ray LeMay off to my left, Zuzu, Mark, and Sherry and Salem to the right. And we've got Andy Fulton, our chair, is not going to make it, and I think Mike is going to be in later on. So with that, we've got a pretty full agenda. We, first thing, just kind of keeping with our tradition of having our guests come up first, we'd like to welcome Jeremy Turner, our town forest manager, to come up and talk to us. We're glad to have you back, Jer, and it was a long process to get through, but we did it, so we're all excited to, I think, keep moving.
All right. Well, thanks for the welcoming back side of things. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, I thought we'd start the discussion with looking at a summary of the work we completed since the last time I was standing in front of you, which, believe it or not, was back in August of 2023. The last time I was here for a quarterly report based on this type of agenda and reporting. So just to recap those items at that point that we were working on, the boundary maintenance on the county lot, as well as the Hardwick and Barden lots we had in motion, and the one property involving the county lot, we had some town council to exercise quiet title, if you guys remember that.
Yep,
So,
we're going to talk about that. We can talk about it right after, so you can hang around if you want
okay,
on that.
great, yeah, that'd be helpful to understand where that's at, because that pivots on, kind of making sure we get the boundaries all completed and stuff, so, some more on that later. The Eastman Conservation property, we had, in motion the harvest planning, which required access, logistics to explore. We looked at building, capital improvement off from 77, and understood the sort of the barriers to that from impact and expense. So then we pursued talking to the neighbor, which I believe it's Sizemore and crew next door, and to temporarily cross their lands. And at that point in time, they were very much supportive of that. So then we put that on a hold with all the shakeup going on. So the timber sale at Felch, we did end up moving through, as you guys are aware of, and that was a home run there with earnings and just performance and value of that whole management project, including a career day that we had hundreds of young kids on site learning about forest management and resource career opportunities, and I'm really excited that we were able to play a role there to influence some small people and younger people anyway, and if we can do more of that moving ahead, I'd be always on board for that. moving along, the annual easement monitoring of Collins Landing, we also took care of with just compliance and reporting to the easement holder, the Forest Society. So that's what involves the work items back at that point in time. So moving ahead, some of that work, we can move into what's being suggested and proposed and discussed tonight is down below. Sorry for the dark contrast if it's hard to read. It's normally in color. So the first item, again, pivots on some of the new acquisitions, mainly the county lot, which we'll talk about later for boundary work, and then the Barden lot, which we had a surveying outfit. Their business name's not coming to mind, but we had to hire a surveyor to recreate a line on that Hardwick lot, and the exact status of the physical maintenance of that on the forestry side, I'm not clear on. I didn't have time to look into that, but I'll get a better idea to make sure that what the state of that is. And point being, I'm pretty confident it's blazed and signed. I'm just not sure if it got painted. So I just want to on the to be determined point that's noted here, that's an item that I'll follow up on to help you guys understand where that's at. Normally, we every other year, well, we have delay mowing management on Eastman conservation lands behind the Blackbird, and I would suggest that be considered this year for the pollinator investments we've done there, and just keeping that habitat just in a really good quality for habitat enhancement. We've done a lot of work there, so I'd like to revisit that. Revisit and get back into the scheduled work at the Eastman property with that, the access, and then implement that work up there through a bidding process if the access and everything is still on the table and in the best interest for the town. We've got some existing trails on Farron Pond. I don't know what those are, but historically we've kind of revisited those every so often. It's been quite a long time since we re-signed, repainted, and repaired a lot of that whole entire trail network. That's something that's probably worth evaluating, because that's, again, an infrastructure that we've been managing and putting money into, and we just want to make sure. I know a lot of people use that trail, so that's an item. We talked about opportunity to create a trail system on Felch Farm, and that work that was done last year by White's Logging had contractor requirements of establishing the trail in terms of the cutout and layout and cleanup. So that's in a place that if we do want to create a trail like we talked about, that's available and in a good place to revisit that and consider it. If we do, we can figure out the next steps on that. We've also been talking about, over the years, looking at each town forest and sort of revitalizing the town forest sign and tree farm sign, and perhaps even like a QR code stamp on a very simple, not an expensive kiosk, but having something there that could pivot to a digital map resource. So I wanted to kind of bring that back to light. and then moving along on actual solid projects that are overdue, involves two forestry plans. One is Farron Pond, the other one is Poor Farm. Both expired in 2022, and what I've done there, I informed the commission, I think it was last year, when those properties were up for tree farm certification, that because their plan was out of date, they no longer qualified to be fully certified in the program. So what I did is I submitted the certification inspection form with a condition that the landowners were prepared to have the plan rewritten and in compliance in the near future. So it's holding the tree farm certification on those two properties based on that. And then over the next, I'd say, year to 2 years, there's two timber sales that are scheduled. One for Felch Farm, and then one on Barden Lot. And the last thing is just the monitoring on Collins Landing. That's, that'll probably be coming up also. So that's the rollout I have for items that I was able to kind of tease out of all the action items that I was aware of at this point.
Could you went, sorry, on the field and pollinator mow on the Eastman, did you say you thought they'd be good this year or next year?
I think a delayed mowing, I'd like to look at it, and it's probably up for mowing, because we haven't mowed it since '23. So this will be the second growing season, so if we're trying to keep woodies out and perennials in, I would think we'd want to look at that and make a plan for mowing.
So that was the contractor that we hired that took care of the road, the log
Yep,
landing, and the
Chris
opening, right?
Chris Akins, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you thinking like late fall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Now, do we remember what the cost was, and do we need to deal with the, it's gonna be, is the town still at $1,000 for going out to bid?
5,000.
Oh, it's 5,000? So did we know what that cost us last time?
It was right around that, but we did bid it out. We had, I think we had three bids. So, but if it's under 5K, then,
You still have to get 3 quotes.
If it's under 5, still get 3?
Under 25, you get 3. Between 25 and 5, we get 3.
All right,
5, you have to have a sealed bid.
yeah, so then what we're asking for, just want to try to keep track of what we're authorizing or what we're doing here. So, like in that case, we're actually authorizing you to prepare the bid package and manage it, and then we have to open the bid at whatever meeting we select. So that's just off the hourly.
if it's over 5.
Just assuming, no, well, yeah. how we
Sealed
gonna
bid is
know?
5, she said, and up.
So we need 3 quotes if it's,
Under 5, but over 2,500.
How would we know what the quotes are?
all right, so I guess we're authorizing Jared to get 3 quotes on essentially the same area that we did before, so maintaining the road, the log land, and the field, or wildlife opening, not the field. If that's what we're
If
doing.
those 3 bids come in over 5, does that mean we have to put it back out for a sealed bid?
But if one's under, and you get 3 quotes, then you're good?
Sure, what if the guy's under and you don't want him?
I mean, you almost have to be, right? If you get 3 quotes and one's under 5.
But if he's a shady, I mean, somebody we don't wanna do business with,
You have to put it out.
But you're getting quote, excuse me, you're getting quotes. It's not like you're calling someone you don't trust. It's a little different than bids, right? Bids a little more of a figuring out a framework to weed things out. So, you know, the company that did last time, they did a good job. Everybody's happy, so obviously there's one.
You know who we got quotes from, or if it was bids or quotes last time, you know who else submitted last time, you could test them as well.
I mean, bidding is more time-consuming project for all of us. It's gonna cost more for you to do it, and for us, it's gonna take more thought. So can we just, like, if someone wants to motion that we authorize Jeremy to spend however many hours on this at the hourly, to gather, so you've essentially got like a statement of work already prepared, because it's the same thing we did last time.
yep.
And then just gather 3 quotes, at
Yep.
least 3 quotes.
And why don't we just put in not to exceed $4,099, $999?
Oh, if we accept the quotes, yeah. Yeah, but we're not gonna, you know, the thing is, like, people usually quote and give you like, what, 30 or 90 days, and we're really not gonna do this till the fall. So you'd be looking for the quotes like in the tail end of the summer, maybe doing some advance work.
People like things scheduled out and
Yeah, you can
sometimes.
get the quotes and just say the work will be done in the fall.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
End
Bid
of
according.
September, early October or something.
Yep, and usually guys will knock the price down if they can shelf some
Yeah, I
project
go as
out.
late as I can on that one,
Yep.
really. But,
Yeah, it's,
all right, so do we wanna throw like a number of hours on the hourly, or do we just authorize it to be done?
Well, what's Jeremy's recommendation, what's he need to do the quotes? Jeremy, what do you figure you need to prepare a quote,
to prepare it?
an hour?
Yeah, but then, you know, phone
And-
calls, meeting, if they can all show up at once, if they can't, not to exceed 10, how's that?
Whatever you need, I mean, just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll do it as efficiently as possible, like,
You always do.
I just don't wanna. Yeah, so,
And then if it ends up looking like it's gonna be more than 5, then we gotta regroup and do the bid process, which will cost
Yep.
more money.
yeah, no, my goal would be to not go to the bid.
Skimming the purchasing policy, it said,
Okay.
you know, if it's estimated to be over 5,001, then you would go down to bid.
Right.
That's the kind of distinction.
Okay.
If it's estimated over that, then you have to go that way. And then otherwise, it's written from the perspective of department heads, which doesn't necessarily apply, but, for that band of 2501 to 5,000, town administrator must approve departmental purchases of goods or services up to 5,000 for those items which are identified in and do not exceed the annual adopted budget. The department head shall submit a purchase order to the town administrator for approval, and then it talks about getting the 3 quotes, or at least attempting to get 3 quotes.
All right, so somebody wants a motion, up to 10 hours out of the conservation account for this one.
This is for mowing, access maintenance, and there was one other thing?
The log landing.
What do you mean by that, the log landing?
So when you it's kind of a parking area, but not really. Like when you drive in Eastman, you go up the driveway, there's a house on the right, you keep going, and there's a big open area that we completely cleared out. And so that's like, you know, when we're harvesting timber, it's
That was
probably
the
2
one,
acres.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the log landing.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so what needs to be done with it?
Uh,
Just kept open as a parking area?
Yep,
Okay, I see.
yeah.
Keep the brush back.
Yeah, it's a little rocky in spots, so it's not like perfectly a parking area, it's not really a field, it's still just kind of a log landing. You can park in there, you gotta watch it,
Permanent opening
Yeah.
from a habitat standpoint.
yeah. It's not as good as I mean, the other one's clearly a wildlife opening, the big one.
So how do we word the motion?
Um,
To
I
allow
make a
Jeremy-
motion to authorize Jeremy to attempt to get 3 quotes for mowing, road maintenance, and log landing maintenance at Eastman, not to exceed 10 hours,
Out of conservation.
out of conservation funds.
Okay, we got that, so let's authorize Jeremy to get 3 quotes to mow, or what did we say?
Yeah,
Road maintenance, mowing,
Oh,
and
road.
mow,
landing.
maintain road, and maintain log landing.
Yeah. At Eastman from Conservation. All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, abstained? Motion carries.
Who seconded it?
Sherry?
Sure.
All right, so
Steve,
put that-
excuse me, Steve, since we're on this hourly item, do you wanna process the Conservation Fund hourly FSA 001 CF?
Yeah, isn't that gonna be the same as the town forest one, or is it?
No, it's different, 'cause it's different funds.
Okay.
right?
So do we already have one signed for the town forest hourly, or no? Okay.
No, that expired.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that was, okay. So the hourly for the conservation fund, it's got, contracts entered into by, Meadowson and Town Aware. Meadowson will provide general forestry services as well as specific forestry service on conservation lands and other related projects. Area work is hourly various. Projects include time to attend management matters involving conservation land needs, motions, involvement on limited trail projects, Eastman Pollinator Project, tree farm, enrollment compliance, boundary matters, correspondence to abutters, bid projects, subtraction, road repair projects, in-person or virtual meetings, where Conservation Commission meeting and preparation for time and materials, where conservation easement projects, post-project monitor, GIS mapping, et cetera, fees. All fees are listed as follows. Licensed forester hourly is $75, and the GIS analyst is $90. And you get, MCC agrees to perform the services listed in Article 1 to the best of its abilities. MCC agrees to hold the client harmless in event of injury to its employees. Client agrees to permit MCC access to its property and perform said services. Client agrees to provide a map of the property showing the boundary lines or show representative of MCC the boundary lines. Obviously, they've got that. This agreement shall remain in effect until 31 December 2025. Such force, the entire contract between parties may be canceled, modified, or amended only by written instrument executed by each party hereto. It's got me as contact, and it's got Beth Rouse in there, so. Anyone want to, make a motion for me to sign that?
I make a motion for Steve to sign the FSA.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Anyone opposed, abstain? Do we still have that, I don't know if it was box or whatever it was, remember to drop all these things in? Some web access.
Oh, the Dropbox?
Yeah, Dropbox, there you go. We gotta somehow keep these somewhere where they're visible, or I don't know if we can dump them somewhere on the web, but just somewhere electronic.
Hmm.
Finance is gonna need one, just so you know.
They got one?
I said she's going to need one so she knows how to pay.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we can give her this, I'll give you this copy, because Jared will make an electronic copy. so that's, was that on the list, Jerry?
Yes, well, it's a conservation fund hourly item, which would blend into the field
Oh, I got you, just not individual.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so, man, there's a lot to work through. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions about the forest management plans? And I would just like to start off with a quick question on the forest management plans for farm and county, and actually, let's see, which ones we got here? Farren, or actually, yeah, the Farren one, let me see this wrong. Where am I? Besides lost. Eastman, that's not it. Oh, they're all in the same, okay. Work A, work B, but they're listed as two different line items here. So, is there, timber crews involved with that?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely, yep. And as we look at this, I originally put Poor Farm, the county lot in with Poor Farm, but
Yeah.
then I later understood it wasn't, it's a conservation lot, right?
I was trying to look that up just now. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. We do, they've got them lumped together on the,
Right.
anybody know what year we bought that?
County?
Yeah,
I think that was before my time, wasn't it?
yeah, it might have
I
been.
would say it's been 3 or 4 years, anyway.
Really? That short? of-
2021. Let's see, so there probably is just conservation. Do you remember, Naomi, if that one?
No, I'm not looking at it.
So is there,
So that, it might make it simpler, so what I did is I was assuming it was a conservation lot after the fact of building this agreement. And so I went through and I pulled out the acreage, and I did not delete the county lot forest as part of the work. But the pricing is appropriate for the Poor Farm only. So what I think we should do is just cross out the county lot right here on the FSA,
yeah,
so it's just Poor Farm. But I still think I should spend a few hours just looking that property over and looking at the resource, like strengths, weaknesses, any concerns, or like habitat, like, I don't know anything about it. I don't know about you guys, but it's a piece of land we own, and it'd be nice to at least take a look at it. We don't need to write a forestry management plan on it, but it's just a item that would be nice to evaluate at some point.
yeah, it's got a huge archaeological site in it.
Look at,
So the boundary part, the boundary's on a different FSA, right? So we do need to tackle the boundary there.
I didn't put together a FSA for the boundary,
Oh, you didn't yet?
no,
Oh, okay. It's on the
just
list.
because I wasn't sure what's going on.
All right, we'll get to that. All right, well, that sounds good, though. That's easy. So we know those are all town forest accounts. So we're just, so we would strike out
The county lot.
county lot on this FSA. Yeah, do members have any question about, forest management plan update?
The town has land managed by the PLC. Do we still get to log it or no?
We don't have any land managed by PLC? No,
We have land that they have easements on.
right. We're the fee owners.
Okay.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion for, so we're gonna be looking at to approve FSA 2025-006FF, which is a forest management plan for Poor Farm, 158 acres, and Farren Pond for 322 acres. And that's gonna be out of the town forest account, and it's gonna be a grand total of, Actually, I don't know what the grand total is gonna be. 4,108 for the Poor Farm and 8,372 for the Fair and Pond, and the deposit that will be due is 6,240, so let's just add that up. 12,480? Make
Yep.
sense? You wanna take a crack at it, or somebody else?
Just a motion that you sign this, or a motion to
Well-
spend this money?
Yeah, the motion is to spend that money for that reason,
Okay,
however much detail you wanna put into a motion out of the town forest account.
okay. I make a motion to, is it authorize the expenditure, or is it just
Sure.
spend? Okay. I make a motion to authorize the expenditure of $12,480 for the purposes of updating the forestry management plans at Poor Farm and Farren Pond.
Which are out of date,
What's that?
which are out of date.
Which are out of date.
Somebody wanna second that?
Second.
Any discussion?
Where are your funds coming from?
Out of the forestry account.
I should write all this down so I can remember. We always forget what to say.
Okay, so, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain?
Steve, who seconded?
I seconded.
Ray second it. It's like a trick question, I'm not paying attention.
Well, it's just, she
I know.
didn't understand what you're doing, the minute taker, so I'm trying to take her notes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We're probably flying along and who knows how clear it is. Okay, so. Probably need to go back and modify that and authorize me to sign this.
Just make another motion.
I'll make another motion. Yeah, just somebody wanna make
Yeah,
another
you're the
motion
vice
that can
chair.
sign the FSA.
I'll make a motion, let Steve sign the FSA for Poor Farm and Farren Pond.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained? Motion carries. So Jeremy, on this one, there is you either have to have it done by the end of the fiscal year, or we need to encumber it,
Correct.
so we need to just track that.
Yep, and so if Article 5, you want me to read that out loud? Just, it makes that point that,
Yeah,
this is in effect to the year end. And if the work's not done, then we'll have to re-encumber the balance of the deposit, the 50% for next year, correct?
we just have to encumber it. So,
Encumber.
yeah, nothing changes,
Okay.
but we just need to pay attention that
Yep.
could happen if it doesn't get done.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then Beth will need to cut a check for that. You might want to email Beth and just ask her to cut a check too.
Okay.
All right, so get that knocked out. All right, let's talk about, Eastman. So Eastman is gonna, this is a timber harvest, and, so it's gonna conform to the actual, contract that we just entered into. But the one part of it, just so everybody needs to understand, the work to do the, access agreement is not part of the timber harvest contract language, so that would have to be hourly. Right? We all agree with that? Just so there's no confusion or anything. So, I don't know if anybody remembers this or not, a few of us did a site walk up there, and we have frontage on 114, but there's a really big gully, and there's a stream in there, and it would be a gigantic fill, and would be pretty expensive, it might not look that great. The neighbors there, those couple of different shops, I'm not sure if it was Size Moore's or the shop to the left of it, but
Says
one,
Chris Bolton.
yeah, it said Chris in here, yes, I think
And I
Chris.
believe
might-
it was Chris's piece that,
We were on Chris's
Yeah,
piece the
yeah.
day we walked it.
So that little
That little
garage
building
is
and
up,
that-
yeah,
That gully and.
Right.
Yeah.
so as long as Chris is still good with it, then we would, we'll probably ask the town attorney for if you've got an access agreement, a standard one, Jer, and then we'll probably just run it by the town attorney, make sure they're good with it. So that, that work there will be on the hourly, and then the rest of it's just the regular, everything that's in the whole, contract agreement. So I'd suggest that someone, I guess, anyone want to ask questions regarding that timber harvest up there? This is the one we canned.
on hold.
Yeah, it was on hold, and so now we're bringing it back to life. And we
So
got-
are we actually gonna go in where we went and walked in that day? When we did that sidewalk? Are we going to go up over the hill and go in?
So, I'm not exactly clear where we're gonna shoot in from, but I think it's where we walked out from if we get permission right there in the corner of that shop. It's almost kind of level where it goes to where we wanna go to log landing. But that's gonna have to be worked out on the access agreement, get it nailed down exactly. But that's the general idea. It was really, like, when we walked out of the woods, it was like perfect, there wasn't too much work getting a log truck in and out of there.
Right, no, it'd flow real nice.
Right, so as long as that's still, green light and, whatever the landowner ends up, wanting for compensation or whatever, we just need to approve that.
Yep,
So if that doesn't work out, then we'd be back to looking at like a major improvement. Or coming at it from a different direction, which will hurt the value of the harvest, if anyone would even want to go that far.
right.
It's a long pull up to the existing landing we have, right?
Yeah,
It's a long skid.
long, and it's a pretty marginal project to begin with. It's
Right,
a lot of improvement
yeah.
type work.
Yeah, you'd end up giving the wood away to do that, for the most part.
How many acres is in there in that parcel on that end? That you're gonna cut?
About 100 acres, here we go.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's 100 that we're gonna be working on, but it involves about 100-acre unit. And in that, I'd say, it's,
There's some swampy area up on top
Yep.
there back, and
Yep.
you can't, I don't know how big, I can't remember now, 8, 10 acres.
right,
Yeah, it's huge, it's really nice. A lot of rabbits in there and bobcat running out of it, and there's some black gum in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice, yep.
yeah, I definitely want to protect that.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So, does anyone want to make a motion to sign this agreement?
Motion to sign the access, the FSA to, no,
This is Timber Harvest FSA.
okay.
He's gonna do the work on the access, but we're gonna sign the Timber Harvest FSA.
But what Mark's getting at too is the FSA hourly for Forest Fund, which that's the bucket we're gonna pull from.
That's the other FSA there, right? Oh, so you
Yes.
wanna do that one first?
Yeah, I
We
think
could do
that's
that.
what Mark was getting at,
But that's just a general FSA for everything.
for hourly,
Yeah,
which would be the access time.
we can do that, sure. Do you have two different hourlies, or is it just one?
Yes, two.
Did I get two?
Yep, you should.
All right, there, I got it.
002 is the forest fund.
Yeah, I think we could have had the same hourly. It's just the same language, same pricing.
Yep, but it's different buckets.
I know, but you could just have put in, it works this way.
Because when I bill you, I want to make sure Beth's pulling from the right bucket.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's a good point. Okay, so Mark, do you wanna hear, that's the same hourly that,
So that's my copy for that hourly. Yeah, he's got-
you'd be making a motion for me to sign the hourly, which is the rates that were in that contract anyhow, or agreement, whatever you're calling it.
Just want to make a motion that we approve funds from the forestry account to do an access agreement to access the Eastman timber harvest.
And to sign the hourly
And
agreement
to sign the, and have Steve sign the hourly agreement.
I'll second that.
from the town forest account, did we say?
Yes.
Yeah, cool, okay. Sherry seconding that? Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone, aye. Anyone, opposed, abstain? Oh, good.
Now we'll do the timber harvest.
Yeah, hang on, let me. I wasn't really prepared to be sitting in the seat tonight. It's a lot.
Should always be prepared. Boy
I
Scouts.
know, I wasn't, oh, I'm sorry, it's been kind of a long day.
Oh.
All right, so that's that one.
Long days.
Yeah, just trying to do too much at once. Okay, now you wanna take on the timber harvest one? So we're just looking for a motion to sign the 2025-003 FF. It's the forestry service agreement for timber harvest on the Eastman that we previously paused. There's no cash coming out on this map, so.
Make a motion for Steve to sign FSA 2025-003 FF for timber harvest at Eastman Conservation Land.
Second it.
Okay, all in favor? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I think
Anyone, me too. Anyone, opposed, abstain? Motion carries. That's Stone. So we've got two left. Jer on Barden, so kind of refresh my memory. Do we have a, so we've already got a management plan?
Yes.
So Andy just said he came across a really giant pine out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was like 130 inches girth or something like that. So probably won't want to whack that one. Be careful around it.
Yeah, we don't whack trees, we harvest trees, but yeah. Yeah, no, any legacy or unique scale size, like tree that's characteristic of being different in that way, we usually don't harvest those.
Yeah, maybe we can get with Andy.
Yeah, we can do a field hike or whatever.
Yeah, so Barden, we were kind of talking about, doing a field visit out there and trying to get a trail laid out as well. So, walk us through what kind of harvest this is?
What kind of harvest?
Yeah, I mean, whole tree, or are we doing, cuts of length, or just conventional?
We could set it up to facilitate any kind of method of harvesting. So if you guys really were interested in seeing something different than a whole tree, we could look at cut to length. We could look at just hand chopping. Once a prescription is verified on the ground and then operationally laid out, then I'll have a much better idea of what method is more appropriate.
Okay, so you don't have that really kind of locked in?
I haven't spent any time, validating the prescription that's scheduled on the ground, no. So these are items that were, studied, measured, analyzed, written, and prescribed.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So all that science and all that research, that's been done, and then it triggers a date, and so that date's here. So that's why we have this operation
Right.
agreement in front of us. So then I get the green light to go out there and start putting that together. And I put these to be expiring 12 of 26, because it's a lengthy process, as you guys know, with bidding and stuff and like that. And so once I start finding the details out about the method of cutting and things like that, we can talk about that more and decide if we want to have a specific type of cutting method. And if you want to do a trail, like incorporate that also with the operations and such. So it's definitely an evolving thing. It's not like a fixed,
Yeah, we haven't got that far.
no,
Yeah.
it's a process, so.
You remember that stream that goes through there? Are we trying to get on the other side of the stream with this, or?
Do I remember that drainage.
Yeah, do you remember if we're trying to cross it? with
Um,
harvest?
I don't. I think Laura reported that it's possible, but it depends on beaver flow, just depends on hydraulics.
Yeah, it's
of-
pretty wide. I think there's some hemlock going up to it. And that rock wall's beyond it.
Right. Hey, how are you? Good.
Hey, Mike. Okay, so, keeping with our approved forest management plan, Jeremy is proposing to plan a harvest out there, and in accordance with our contract. Does anyone want to move that forward?
I make a motion for Steve to sign FSA 2025-004FF to move forward with the Barden timber sale.
Somebody want to second that?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Pardon the lot that I'm supposed to go deal with the posts and the well?
Yes.
Okay, that won't interfere with any of this, right?
No.
Is there a well that's a
There's well
liability?
there, and there's some pipes coming out of it, and I had a concern with maybe in the future vandals or somebody contaminating the water, so I offered to go up there and pull the piping out and cap it, weld a cap on top of the thing, and then there's some cement sonotubes that are scattered about. I was gonna bury them, and then clean up the pad, the cement pad on one of there's some cement blocks, it's just hazards.
Sure,
They don't belong in the woods.
right.
So I was gonna bring my little excavator up there and clean that up, make it presentable. And then maybe we talked about cutting a few branches in the driveway to make access in there easier. And that's about it. But I figured I'd offer to do that.
Sure. And if you haven't gotten to it by the time we have whoever does the work, we could always have them
Yeah.
pick the stuff up anyway, if it's still
I'm
there.
figuring as soon as the ground gets a
Oh,
little bit
yep.
less soft, some years I could have gone by now, but this year it's not,
Not so.
so.
That's gonna be a challenge in there, trying to get a tractor trailer up that.
Oh, yeah.
But, so we'll have to probably look at,
Even the, can't think of, off the top of my head, the piping from the street to the property
The culvert,
culvert.
Hmm.
I don't know that this can handle that weight.
they might have to improve all that.
Yep.
I don't think it'd be a big job on that particular driveway. The soils are good and there's material to work with, so it'd just be a matter of
rearranging it.
rearranging it.
Yeah. Okay, so, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, I just stepped in, I didn't
Okay.
get to the full discussion.
Mike's abstaining. Okay, motion carries. I'm gonna go ahead and sign them.
Jeremy, when you play around with 114, you might have to get permission.
Yeah, oh,
You
yeah.
have to alter the driveway permissions, and that one, you have to get state permission.
Yep, I try to put that burden on the operators.
Thanks.
Whether it's a town road agent or like DOT,
And DOT would be that one and the one, if you're gonna come out,
Eastman.
if you're gonna come out with Eastman.
Yep.
You can change.
Okay, and then we've got another proposed forestry services agreement, 2025-005 FF, and that's to, lay out a harvest in Felch, stand 68 acres, and that's, in accordance with the approved 2022 forest management plan. All the same pricing, obviously, that's in the contract. I don't know, Jerry, you wanna mention that, just again, recap?
Yeah.
what we're doing there.
This is an isolated area on Felch that is on the far north end of the property. So it's accessed by Route 77, just up from, across from Burnt Hill Road. And, remember Sanborn Lumber, just up, yeah, east of that. Burnt Hill comes out again, it's right across the road. So it's separate from the main body of Felch Farm because of that massive floodplain. So it's at 68 acre. We worked in there in 2010 or 2012, one of the two. So this is a follow-up, follow-up harvest from that work that we did in the first planning period.
Any other questions? Anyone want to make a motion for me to sign it?
Motion to proceed to sign FSA 2025-005 FF for the timber harvest at Felch Lot.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay, so, wow, that was a marathon. So we've got trail maintenance that, at Farron, trail build at Felch. Maybe we could talk about that at the next review.
Sure, yeah,
They're kinda
those are just
plowing through a ton of
action
stuff.
items to
Yeah.
be aware of, and I'd say, you know, they're a priority, but they're not anything we need to make a decision on tonight.
No, they're good. Let's make sure that we add that on.
Yep.
For Ferrin, we had that request from Fish and Game, or inquiry from Fish and Game about stocking the pond again, and they couldn't get access because the trail was in too poor of condition. Is there any thought of building that up to be accessible by ATV again?
I think all there is just some trees across it.
Okay, so it's not that much work.
No, I mean, so if you wanna get them to go up there, I mean, it's gonna, you know, cut that out. It's gonna, you got anybody can do that there? You guys wanna do it, or?
Yeah. Yep. If you want it open, I mean, it can fall under the FSA, that's what that hourly
Yeah.
is for, if you guys need things like that taken care of.
So, I mean, that's probably somewhere between, you know, let's just say a day with 2 foresters up there, so it's, I don't know, like 20 hours or something like that, that would be authorizing.
I haven't been up there for seasons.
Yeah, I'm just thinking drive time, and if we come down, you know, if they come down for a purpose trip from New London to go clear that out, I mean, it's gonna be,
Oh, I was thinking a part of the actual, when they're out there doing trail maintenance.
oh.
Not this year, I don't think
Oh,
we're
yeah,
gonna hit it this
Stockton's
year.
now. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
If they
Yeah,
ran down
that's-
there, and did it,
right.
you'd have to do it right now.
Right, no, that'd be for next year, so when they're just adding to the trail maintenance, trying to include
Gotcha.
that.
Cool, all right, we'll punt then.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought you wanted to.
No,
talk
I
about
wasn't
it.
trying to get action for something to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's too late.
And
Okay.
once they did that, we'd have a more accurate picture of what needs to be done to the trail, if anything extra.
Exactly.
It's in pretty good shape. I've been up there, I mean, cause you put a bunch of water bars in and stuff, I mean, that's working out all right, it didn't look bad. Yeah, the trees across there are kinda like a positive and a negative, cause for all the same reasons Fish and Game can't get up there, nor can
Right,
anyone else.
right, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was gonna be something for discussion, yeah,
Yeah.
if we actually wanted to have access.
Yeah, I need to take a walk up there this spring again, but, all right, so I feel like we plowed through a lot of that stuff, like Collins Landing, we can do that later. So, yeah, maybe we can talk about, and we need to track, like, essentially, so we've authorized about half of the budget tonight, and then plus there's gonna be, well, the hourly stuff, is gonna be hourly related to the access, I mean, so we're somewhere like, probably about 11,000 left, you know, because with that access, work for the timber harvest is gonna add on to that 12,480 that we authorized. So just keeping that in mind, you know, we've got up to 25,000 out of the town forest account. So we've got, you know, kind of shifting gears a little bit involving Jeremy. You got anything else besides, we'll dive into the county?
No,
Yeah,
that's
no
it.
problem. So, well, we've got Jer and the next agenda item anyhow. Does anyone else have anything for Jeremy on forestry or anything, or are you all good?
Good.
All right. So I talked to, Attorney Whitley, right? About, the Poor Farm County title, and, he hasn't got anything back, so I mean, basically, we need to move on to do the quiet title action. And so, you know, speaking with him, you know, it's gonna get expensive, but we gotta do it. The only thing I really don't know is, so we have to have a professional witness, is surveyor, and it makes sense that it's the surveyor that did the work, Ron Klamarzik, who Attorney Whitley's also knows Ron. So I talked to him about it. I mean, the attorney would, manage that and then have Ron bill us. So the only thing I don't really know, like, this is one of these cases where, you just have to have Ron because he's the one who did all that work. So I don't know how that relates to the town purchasing policy, but to me, I would think
There's certainly an exception for cases like that. Let me just make sure you don't need selectmen's authorization to get that. I think you might though. Yeah, so the list of exceptions, it's section 11, emergency purchases, it's not emergency, but state contractors list, only one known source of product or service, and there's no comparable substitute. And then at the end of it, the board of selectmen retains full authority to, at their discretion, waive any and all requirements. So, does that catch all if needed?
Yeah, so, I talked to him about, I suspect we're gonna pay this out of the conservation account. I don't think it's probably right to ask for it out of the legal budget, cause we'll blow the budget up. I think we need to motion to put $30,000 aside out of the conservation fund to cover the legal fees and the surveyor, as professional witness. So the survey work is already done, so, now you're taking Ron's knowledge of the case and coming in as a professional witness as to why the title that the successors to Steve Cogliano have is incorrect, and that it referenced a problematic survey, and why our title is correct. And it's really interesting. It's a good read, but you gotta have him there to explain it, no one else is gonna explain it. So, yeah, with that, I talked to Attorney Whitley. We need to, as a commission, we need to green light it. So for town attorney, where the Board of Selectmen already have hired this town attorney, and we're going to authorize an amount to fund this, do they need to concur with our action before we give Attorney Whitley the green light, or are we good to go because we're the agents to expend?
My individual opinion is the latter.
Yeah.
It's conservation money.
Yeah.
You're choosing that. And if you, I think you could even use the exception of, I'm trying to maybe thread the needle here, only one known source of product or service. There's no comparable substitute product or service. Written documentation supporting the sole source must be provided. Like, I don't think it's necessary anyway, again, because it's your money, conservation's money.
We're using the town attorney though, so that's already done. You've already, hired
Yep,
it's working under the town's contract with the town attorney, we're just funding it,
yep.
right?
But, again, it's my opinion that this is all meant to mostly guard against the money that the selectmen,
Yeah, we weren't really told that recently, that was the old interpretation,
I see.
way back,
Okay.
when life was good.
So what's your timeline?
2 years ago,
Yeah,
it's been going on for a while,
Yeah,
so
at
the
least
guy
a couple
passed
years.
away.
right.
I think you don't want this thing, the survey, we don't want to get like super stale and like,
Or Ron goes away.
that's the problem,
And he's 73, and he's getting older, and
pretty sharp. I saw him at the Society of American Foresters get together, but we had another great surveyor in this area that, was like a wealth of knowledge, and it's gone now, so. Yeah, I would jump on this now, cause this thing's gonna drag for probably a year.
It's already been dragging.
Yeah, I'm saying once it even hits the courts, Do you want me to make a motion, or someone to make a motion contingent on the selectmen's concurrence? Would that do it?
Oh, yeah, because what I was trying to do was avoid a whole month wait, so that would take it a Monday,
Yeah,
yeah,
so they would just email us and say, good to go.
yeah.
Yeah,
There
rather-
is concurrence.
So ideally, someone will make a motion that, we authorize up to $30,000 to cover the quiet title legal action by Attorney Whitley and, allow his office to contract with, Ron Klamarzik, the surveyor, to be the professional witness. And they will, all the bills from both companies will come directly to the town and be paid from out of conservation, so however you want to try to word that, if someone wants to take a stab at it. And contingent upon the selectmen's concurrence.
I only wrote half of what you said, so I have no idea.
I probably couldn't remember what I just said, but,
Oh, gosh. I don't even know how to say.
Andy never makes motions. I mean, Robert's rules, the chair can make a motion. Does anyone care if I make a motion?
Yeah,
Don't make a
I mean,
motion.
the kind of shortcut is if you want a motion made, you ask for it, and someone just says, so moved.
Ah, yes, I hear that.
There you go, we like
I
that.
like that.
There you go.
All right, so someone just say so moved to what I just.
Okay,
So moved.
Mark couldn't wait to say it. I'm gonna
Then
say
you're a
it.
second it.
I'm gonna second it.
All right,
That's a lot.
that works. Okay, so, any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed, abstain?
And just clarify, I wanna make sure we're on the same page of what I'm going back to ask, so there's not, so that I'm not confused on Monday. You want concurrence for, again, I'm trying to avoid, it's like necessarily getting in the middle of conservation spends when, you know, you are the agents to expend.
Right.
But like you said, it does involve the town attorney, so, it's concurrence to have, again, how does it not,
Slam, we've been trying to do this for 3 years.
I know,
We gotta move it forward somehow.
So we're stepping.
We're willing to pay for it to get it
Right,
done.
no, that's not,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to avoid is conservation moves forward and then someone says, well, hold on a minute, this is, why didn't the selectmen get involved, like we ran into the last 2 years? That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Well, I think the selectmen knew about this problem, but, so what, all we're trying to do right now is, so we're using the town attorney that the board of selectmen have already selected as our attorney, so that's, to me, that's like a non-issue, and we're stepping up and saying, you know, it's not right to go digging into the town legal budget for this issue, because we can pay for it. So, you know, you're just telling them that's how they felt about this, you know, and I think that would be received well. And our only real problem is, we absolutely need to use Ron Klamarzik, who's going to be managed by the town attorney. That's the surveyor, because he already did the survey work. Because otherwise, you know, if we went out to bid, I don't even know how you'd do that, because you'd have to tell them to go back and review Ron's work, and then you'd have to guess at how many hours or whatever their
I've already
hourly.
paid Ron to do this work.
Ron's super cheap too.
Right, but I mean, we've already paid him to do, we already paid to do the work.
For this purpose.
Yeah,
Why would we do it again?
yeah, we wouldn't, no, just because of the town purchasing policy, but I think we're good. This is clearly a case where it should be just, it's a unique circumstance, and,
All
Yeah.
he's basically gonna do is present those documents that we read when he originally surveyed it, right? That's his expert opinion.
he's gonna talk, yeah, I mean, you know, he's gonna get in there, say,
Yeah,
yeah. No, he could be right in court giving
Testifying
testimony,
for it.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's the guy you want, you know?
Yeah, he did all the work. He
Yeah.
knows the exact details of everything, so.
Okay, so basically what we're gonna do is, gonna wait to hear back from you, and once the selectmen are good to go,
This month, I'll,
yep, and then we're just gonna
Okay,
pull the
bring it up
trigger,
this
yeah,
way, and then
and,
make sure we've made a decision on Monday.
perfect, an attorney knows what he needs to do. It's too bad we couldn't come to a boundary line agreement, but who knows, maybe something, you know, if they see the court action.
Adding that to your report as well, just so that I'm gonna have it in my notes, but if you also have it in your notes, we'll have it covered.
Okay, Andy was talking about that next one's gonna be non-public, so let's just go to let's get through the public kind of stuff here. So Jerry, I don't think we've got anything else for you.
Okay.
You got anything else for us?
I had a
Nice to see
quick,
you all.
just general
Yeah.
forestry question for you.
Yeah.
On the federalist side of things, I've heard people saying that there'll be a move to bring back paper mills. Have you heard anything of that nature? This is J area. Got any hopes for that happening?
That's a big question.
It's too open right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
And-
the existing manufacturing infrastructure we have is very difficult to operate as it is now, because
Yeah, without it blowing up. Yeah.
well, labor, people don't wanna work, do labor,
Mhm.
manufacturing labor, so these sawmills that are working, these pulp mills that are working, a lot of their day-to-day on production, because often their workforce isn't showing up. So, you know, we have calls all the time saying, you know, we can't saw logs today, so don't deliver, because we don't have people working. And they can't,
Even way up north, they don't have people that wanna work in.
Like RJ Chippings up there, they've been
Wow.
down for a
No.
while.
no, and they can't fire people, because there's nobody standing in line for the job. So, as a manager of employment, you're like, no, you didn't show up today, but can you show up tomorrow? I mean, that's where it's at, so I don't know how you could reinvest and build these massive manufacturing
I don't-
facilities
yeah, I
and
don't see
people
that
aren't even
happening. It's-
working.
It's the
What's left?
places like J, I was thinking maybe you could get some funds in there to
Yeah.
get that operating again.
Yeah.
And then the other one I had was
Hmm.
with the DER credits with the state. Do you have any, is that too early right now with those going away or potentially the renewable credits that biomass
Oh,
plants get?
RECs, RECs?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just thinking forestry impact.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I mean, you know, it sounds like we're gonna be moving more towards a petroleum economy with the president, so I don't think renewables are gonna be very well supported.
Or even on the state side of things, yeah,
State side gets the federal
yeah, that's true.
mandates and Fed funding, so.
There's no way for the biomass plants to survive without
No, they need the credits.
the credits.
Yeah, yeah. Seems it.
That's all.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
Thanks for nothing.
It's not his fault. Just have a bunch of wood chips in the woods.
I got a whole bunch in my yard right now, I don't know what to do with.
Burn piles, man.
Yeah.
You know, I need a big one. Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jer. Good to have you back.
Yeah, yeah, it's good to be back in the saddle here.
All right, yeah, we'll go over some easy stuff. Does anyone, have a guess when a good time to go out to Barden would be? For a-
Is that anything you want me to be part of or not? The Barden Pike?
I mean, you can, you don't have
If you wanna
to.
learn about the forest and big trees and
Good.
habitats. Well, talk it over, and if you do, let me know the date and.
Well, let's see if we can come up with a date. We can kind of punt on this until the snow is gone, but folks, how about the Saturday before Easter? Is that bad time in there next,
That's this Saturday.
The 19th.
Yeah,
not the Saturday, the one after, right?
After Easter.
After that's Easter.
Well, Easter's,
The day before Easter,
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like 2 days before Easter,
the 19th.
or the day before Easter.
Oh, is that the 19th?
Yeah, 19th.
Yeah,
I won't be here.
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be a tough one anyway, 'cause I may not be around either.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice
26th
to
is open.
get in there before the May meeting.
Yeah, how about a weeknight?
Sure.
So maybe like the 23rd?
It's open.
4:30?
Sure.
Or do we need to go later?
What day?
What time's it get dark now, 7?
Yeah.
7:30.
7:30.
What's the 23rd? What day?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Gaining 2 minutes a day, 14 minutes a week, daylight.
I can do 4:30, but that's as soon as I can do.
Yeah, me too. But just to give us enough time. I mean, how long do you think it'll take to walk around that whole thing?
Hour?
At 5.
5? Can you make it 5 on the 23rd?
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Is it
Nate,
enough for you that I post it?
yeah, we're gonna have to post that as a field. Let's say public welcome, walk around, rough terrain, kinda, just so that they know. We'll be hiking around.
23rd, you said?
Yeah,
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, 23rd. Yeah, it might be a little hard to find. I would say you might wanna put a note if they need directions to contact, the Conservation Commission, if the public wants to go,
We probably want to meet here. so-
Wanna do that? That would solve that problem. Meet here at 5,
Yeah.
caravan up there.
See you
Good
at
idea.
6.
See, it's 16 of that many people.
Yeah. All right, so meet here at 5.
Good night.
Good night.
See you later. All right. I'll skip around a little. We're gonna skip over the town credential one, because Andy put that on there. Like all our email credentials and everything are working, right? Did that have something to do with just the computer?
Yeah, it's just they issued you a new email with a new laptop. You asked about it.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but I asked for that answer today.
okay. Sherry, you were reappointed, and I was reappointed, so that's all good.
If Salem can swear you in, I have the paperwork tonight.
Okay, wanna swear us in?
Let's do it.
Yes, good.
I like to sleep. I'll take it back to you guys to sign.
Okay. Alright. So we'll do Sherry first. Alright. Raise your right hand. Say, I, Sherry Burdick,
I, Sherry Bird,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
solemnly and sincerely swear
and affirm, do that better next time,
and
and affirm
affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
faithfully and partially discharge
and perform all the duties
and perform all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent on me
as Conservation Commission member
as Conservation Commission member
for a term of 3 years,
for a term of 3 years,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my ability,
agreeable to the rules and regulations
agreeable to the rules and regulations
of this Constitution
of this Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations. Welcome back. And then.
Yeah, there's a code of ethics thing on the next page to sign too.
Right here.
I can fill in the rest out.
Okay. Steve?
Steve already did his ethics.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Stephen Ajar,
I, Stephen Ager,
do solemnly and sincerely swear and affirm
do solemnly and sincerely swear and affirm
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and perform all the duties
and perform all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as Conservation Commission member
as Conservation Commission
for
member
a term of 3 years,
for a term of 3 years,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeable to the rules and regulations
agreeable to the rules and regulations
of this Constitution
of this Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Good. And if you could sign
We already signed yours.
Yeah, I'm good to go there. Good deal. All right. Check. This is like the longest agenda we've had in ages.
Yeah, you're slipping a little, Steve.
But we're going fast.
I'm trying like
Going
heck.
real fast.
I'm trying, believe me, I'm trying. I was thinking 30 minutes, like, nah, no way. Any luck with the Arc Pro?
Yeah, so I talked to someone at Esri. It sounds like for our purposes, the essentially cheapest offering they have, Arc Pro Basic, should be fine. It is a $700 a year license. And we don't want their online software as a service thing. We want the actual software on the laptop.
Okay, cool. You wanna make a motion out of the conservation account?
Conservation account, yeah. I make a motion to expend $700 for the purchase of ArcGIS Pro Basic out of the conservation fund for the year, this year.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, abstained? All right, motion carries. So if you don't mind getting with Beth to see how they want to, like, get the funds to Esri,
Sure.
that'd be credit card. So yeah, it would just be set. We had a town account number and everything, so
Long time ago.
yeah, and but if you don't mind just kind of going back and forth and get that paid up, and then
Sure.
we'll. I don't know if, if we get the software before, because now it's just downloading it off the web once they,
Right, yeah. So it'd just be
so I can actually give you the
on
computer
the
there.
Computer, yeah.
Okay, I haven't messed with it at all. Awesome, thanks for getting that done. That's great. All right, so the one other, I'm trying to think, did I forward that email or about the, solar training? Probably not. All right, I'm just forwarding that. So basically there's an Aware Energy Committee, Dave Erickson's the chair. He reached out and, there's this, workshop that's, solar start to finish. I just got this the other day, Understanding Solar Developments for Conservation Groups, April 16th in Concord. So you can look at it. I mean, I've got, I responded, my own personal opinion is, I think it's great if you're gonna do that, like on some previously developed land. I'm not like super excited. We've had this discussion here before about,
Yeah, I could say something about that, but I'm not sure I want to say it in public.
no, I know. I mean, I expressed, so the one thing about this group that I said back to Dave was if you look at this group that's offering the training, they are so heavy with industry. So I feel better if like someone like, Cooperative Extension is putting something on.
Sure.
But, I mean, it's just information if anybody wants to go to it.
And
or
what's the, what are we, what is conservation, what's the interest there?
The
Trying to get-
wetlands, the impact to the wetlands.
I understand, but I
Alteration
mean,
of
are they
terrain.
trying to get panels on
I don't know what they're
conservation
trying to
land?
do.
No, this is just a training. It's a free in-person session. It's designed to help conservation groups better understand the full solar development process.
Oh, okay.
I'll bet you they're not gonna talk about what actually happens when they're doing it.
Yeah, and we've gone through this before. I mean, it's 4:30 to 6:30, and then what I suggested was that, they're not suggesting doing anything on conservation land, but I suggested to Dave, and he's a good guy, and that their heart's definitely in the right place, that, at some point they ought to come in and talk to us about, what's going on.
Environmental impacts.
Or just what they're thinking, cause I mean, I mentioned to him, like, I don't know, I know there's like a big one over a parking lot in Massachusetts that has no environmental impact,
Sure.
But,
There are certain places
Yeah.
where they are fine.
yeah, I mean, we're all gonna have opinions, right? But, yeah, I mean, I'm a forestry guy and doesn't like to see big swaths of woods blown away from solar panels, but anyhow, I just suggested, so anyhow, so if anybody wants to go to that, you got it, we talked about it, just passed it along. Anyone else, any concerns about that? No, good. If someone does go to it, just be great to hear back kind of what they thought. Any planning board stuff? Awesome. Any mail items from DES? Awesome. Who knows the language on going non-public?
You said some minutes, I sent one out, you had minutes from March 12th and you had minutes from March 25th of the joint meeting.
Yeah, do we want to do that right now, or do we want to do the,
Well,
no?
once you shut the camera off, you're done.
Oh, we are, we don't come back to it? I didn't realize that. All right, so. I just saw something, we just got some kind of an email too, which is rare.
Oh, yeah.
It's Chad Singles.
Yeah, that came
To know
tonight.
about farming.
I'm interested to learn what process would be put. All right, so this email is, that goes under correspondence. My name is Chad
Zingalis.
Zingales, and my wife and I are currently under contract to purchase 856 South Stark Highway.
The Ilsley Farm, the Ilsley property.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
He came before, I guess he and his wife came before planning board this past year.
Mhm.
They're interested in, they do like a Halloween type thing on our property. I don't remember the town they do it in, but they're looking to do kind of a similar thing, not, he said very explicitly, not put a subdivision in there. Do like a little farm stand type thing. I believe he said put their house towards the back, maybe a tiny home. He joked about, kicking the kids out and sitting out there. But having had that planning board context and coming to this email, it sounded like, just a continued attempt of how to keep as much of that undeveloped as possible while, extracting benefit from it.
Yeah, so he said, I'm interested to learn what the process would be to put part of the agricultural piece of that property into conservation status, and if I would still be allowed to farm it. Lavender, Christmas tree, cut flowers, corn, agritourism. I'm just interested to gather some information about process and benefits. Hope to hear from you soon.
Wouldn't that land be already under, not conservation, but what do you, current use?
Current.
Wouldn't that be what they want to do there?
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, it's not clear what he's really asking there. So the current use is obviously different than like
He can still
conservation.
do
is.
agriculture if it's in current use.
Yeah. And he could
If-
have
I
a
mean-
Christmas tree farm and he could do tours on it, but if it's in conservation,
grow-
well, I guess it'd have to be part of the easement, the conservation easement, right?
No, an agricultural.
Agricultural use is usually fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Grow
Um,
or batch, do whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know about
Except I don't know
responding.
much farming he can do there, because isn't that residential, Naomi?
It's like half, it's
First
half,
300 feet's commercial.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
That's,
then
I
that,
actually meant commercial too, I didn't mean residential, yeah.
I'm on 114, it's commercial.
isn't there something in zoning that says you can do everything on, no, you can't. You
Yes,
can't have a
except for
building on, a living arrangement on commercial. There was something that said, which one is it? You can do commercial and rural agricultural, basically the
Yeah,
same,
the only thing you can't do
interchangeable?
in commercial is build the house. You could do whatever's in R and RA, but you can't build a house.
Oh, I'd rather see what he wants to do than the alternative.
He gave, I thought, a really good presentation to planning board. At that point, it was, they were trying to decide if they did wanna put an offer on, you know, what are they gonna be able to do? Again, I get the impression that he would be willing, if we wanted to ask him to kind of give the presentation again, what they're looking to do, then maybe we can help point them in the right direction. Or it's just, you know.
It sounds like he's either interested in putting a conservation easement, in which case he'd wanna talk to like PLC or
Forest Society.
Forest
you'll see.
Society, yeah, or he just wants current use, in which case.
Maybe you should invite him into the next meeting.
Okay, so that's our response. Sounds good.
Are you gonna respond back to him, Steve?
Sure. I'm just inviting him to a meeting. Okay, so do we want to try to, so we got minutes, I guess? Anyone look at them?
Yep.
March 12th.
Like
Look
2
at 'em really
pages.
quick on
Do the minutes come on Outlook?
no, they're on the, posted on the website.
No, on the town website.
Do you need a printed copy?
I didn't see it, so that's okay. I can
You can
listen.
table, doesn't matter.
All right, so we're gonna table the minutes till next meeting.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
This isn't even actually a late one, we've just been so spoiled the last couple.
What's done yet, though? Okay, so Board of Selectmen liaison comments.
I have two. First one, this is my first meeting here. I'm very excited about it. It's my third year as a selectman, first year as ex-officio for park, second for planning. I think this really rounds things out. I've watched probably the majority of the conservation meetings. I think everybody here is phenomenal, and conservation's a lot more than just buying up land. And we went through all this today. So, you know, I look forward to picking up where Selectman Pratt left off, of being a liaison. Second comment is, to keep the meeting going even longer, I think we should do another non-public under L.
I think that's what he was going to do.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. I don't know if yours is a different one.
No,
There's
Okay.
two.
this is the
no,
one,
Salem, yes, it's two different ones.
Yeah, right. Sounded like
It's
there was
same, it's same L, but it's two different
matters.
Issues.
issues.
Yeah, yeah,
well, it's all legal,
sure. Okay, we're good.
yeah. So there's the thing that Andy was working on, and this thing that we were working on, so we're dealing with the legal issues. So thank you for stepping up to be our liaison, that's great. Glad to have you. Okay, before we go, are there any additional items? All right, so who's got the script memorized? Because I surely don't.
There's a script. Salem's probably got the best one.
Don't have that notebook with me.
Yeah, I don't have a conservation handbook with me either.
All right, well, hang on, I
Thank-
can share.
It's, take a look at it. 92. No, it's not there.
Did you print those things out?
I make a motion to enter non-public
Yeah.
on say 3L, second roll call vote. So just read
Yeah, I got
whatever
it.
time it is, enter, and then you do a roll call around the table.
Does
So you're
somebody-
gonna actually
Does somebody have
read
to
the
say
motion
so
then?
moved?
And someone's gonna make a second, and then you do a roll call.
Yeah,
And then when we exit, we do the same thing.
okay. Actually, the chair,
Yeah, I
yeah,
was gonna
the
say.
chair- I was gonna say, the chair is actually motioning.
Chair is the one that makes the motion usually.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So we're coming out of that and then ending the whole entire meeting?
Yes.
That'll be a separate motion.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few motions, right? Because we've got to restrict coming out of it, then we end the,
Just make your notation in your minutes that you're back publicly, and then you seal,
and then we're ending.
and then you're done.
Okay. All right. So we making a motion to enter non-public under NHRSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, L And then someone second
A second.
I'm gonna take a roll call.
that. Okay, now we're gonna do a roll call vote, so, I guess we'll just start off to the left. Ray,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
let's see, Zuzu,
Yep.
Mark,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
that's everybody. Okay, so with that, we're,
Hold on.
oh, me, obviously, yes.